Hey there, welcome back for another video. I am Mike. We are on our second Model Y and our fourth Tesla overall. Means we probably have issues. What I have found over the years and among our Teslas is I do find myself buying a lot of the same accessories each time we get a new one. So in this video, I will walk through what I consider to be the 5 must-have accessories, explain to you why I think they're must-have accessories, and let you know where you can find them. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 1 is a really good set of all-weather floor mats. And this applies not just to where you would think floor mats would go, it's also all those other storage areas that a Tesla Model Y has. For example, you've got the trunk, really should have a mat back there. You've got the sub trunk, at least that's what I call it, that compartment underneath the trunk. And then you've got what I call the side cubbies on either side of the trunk. And then let's not forget the frunk, your front trunk. I think it's important to have mats in all of these areas for various reasons. I think the most obvious is with the places where people are going to be sitting, getting in and out of the car. At least here in Michigan, we get all sorts of kind of weather, and I imagine that's the case in most areas of the country. It could be wet, and dirt makes mud. You know, you got snow, dirt, grime, just junk. And around here, actually, in the winter, they do use salt on occasion. And salt in particular can really make like carpeted floor mats or carpet look really nasty. Sure, you can get it out with a lot of elbow grease, but why not just have it not make a big deal and have the mats? And then when you get into the trunk area, I think a real good reason to have one there is because if you're like me, you're putting stuff back there. Maybe you're putting food, maybe you're putting beverages, maybe you're putting anything that could spill. Or I do know sometimes if I have a really muddy pair of shoes, I will put them back there. Or I also may put them in the frunk, which is why I would recommend one up there. Really anywhere where you'd have anything that could get the carpet dirty. Now, I really like my vehicles to be clean. So if you really don't care, then I guess don't get mats. But I do recommend mats in all of these areas for that reason. Helps keep them clean. Doesn't mean you never have to clean those areas, but it does help keep them clean and keep them clean for longer. Now, as far as floor mat options, you're gonna have a lot of choices. And I've really narrowed it down to what I would consider to be 3. It's technically 4, but I'm gonna put 2 in the same category and kind of trying to give you an option at different price points. Now, none of these are gonna be super cheap. None of these are gonna be the kind where you go to the local auto parts store or the Walmart and you cut them to fit, that there's some kind of a universal one. So I would say on the lower cost end of things, I would look at Tasmanian mats. Those are the ones that we had in our first Tesla, which was a Model 3. And I found they did a good job. I did find that they tended to wear more than some of the other options I'm going to mention. But for the price, I thought they were a good deal. They provided really good coverage, and they just wore quicker than I would have expected them to. In the middle of the road, I would say Lasfit. And I actually did a review on some of their mats, which I will put in the description down below. I thought they were pretty good. I did really like the material they were made out of. It was more flexible than most of the ones I've dealt with, so that was kind of cool. I thought they were well made, and I found they were not on the high end of cost. So that would be kind of my middle of the road one. Now, on the higher end of cost, but with that, I think comes higher end of quality, would be the ones that I have in this car, and that is the 3D MaxSpider mats. You will see a lot of people who really swear by these, and I guess I'm on that list because I have really enjoyed these. I like the texture that's on them. I do know some people do not like having the name of the company on the floor mat. In this case, you're not going to want 3D MaxSpider because they're very much on there. Although I think you can kind of tear it off. I have not because it doesn't bother me. I really like the texture of them. They really grip the carpet. They do not move much. The one exception would be on the driver's side with how I get into a car. I tend to like push onto the floor when I get in the car. I also push when I get out. I'm just in a hurry to go everywhere. But they really stick. They do a great job. I really like their fit. I really like the material they're made out of. And then I would call it honorable mention that's kind of between the Lasfit and 3D MaxSpider, closer to 3D MaxSpider as far as cost goes, but also closer to 3D MaxSpider from all the positives that I talked about. And that would be the floor mats made by Jowa. Most recently, I did actually buy their floor mats for our Tesla Model X. If you've not watched our delivery video from picking that up, I'll link to that in the description down below as well. It was kind of a fun day, so you got to check it out. I've never used their mats before. I've been very happy with them. I think the fit is great. I will say, if you do look at getting the Last Fit mats or the Joa mats, I do have a discount code for those, and I will put that down below. If you use that, you will get a discount. I'd love your thoughts. If you do purchase any of these, or maybe you have your favorite mat that you want to share with me, drop it in the comments down below, and I will for sure get back to you, and that way other people will benefit from your opinion as well. And coming in at number 2 is a mobile charger. Back in the day, Tesla did used to include a mobile charger with your vehicle. At the same time, or within a short period of time after they stopped including them, they did decrease the price on them. But I do believe that they're like around $250 now. And a lot of people will ask, well, why is that a must-have accessory? I guess the word must is going to be in the eye of the beholder. You got to have some way to charge. And if there's any way possible for you to charge at home, that's going to be the most cost-effective way for you to do it. Now, many people will install a level 2 charger, whether that be a Tesla universal wall charger or just the Tesla wall charger or some third-party charger. Like we actually have a ChargePoint Tesla charger at home. I still believe it's a good idea to have the mobile charger. We actually do use the mobile charger as one of our 2 chargers at home and have done so since we purchased our first Tesla 4 years ago, and it's still doing well. Now, I don't think the mobile charger is meant to be used as a full-time charging solution for 4 years, but it's worked fine for us. Even if it's just a typical wall outlet, I personally, for our use case, would not view that as a really good home charging solution, but that's based on our commutes and how much we drive and things like that. However, I do think it's good to have that on your trip if you take a trip. Most places have an outlet, and if nothing else, it may not be ideal. You might get 1 to 3 miles an hour, but if you have the opportunity to plug in and you ask permission, I just think it's a good idea to have the mobile charger. And we actually do have 2 mobile chargers that we bring with us. So my car has one in the sub trunk, and so does my wife's car. So it is something, I practice what I preach, but I do think having the mobile charger is a real must-have, in my opinion. Coming in at number 3 on the list of must-have accessories for your Model Y is a screen protector. I recommend that for any vehicle that has a big screen, and I put screen protectors on just about everything, my cameras and you name it. Certainly my phone, mainly because I'm clumsy. But we have them in our Model X as well. Of course, that has 2 screens that you can put them on. But in the Model Y, you have the one main screen. Kind of an important thing to have that screen. And a lot of people will say, well, is this really a must-have? What's the likelihood of you cracking or chipping the screen, and would a screen protector really protect against that? I think that's a valid point, and I don't know the answer to that question because I've never actually cracked a screen. I have cracked a screen protector, and I have chipped a screen protector. Actually, the one we have in my wife's Model X, I noticed I was driving it one day, there was kind of a chip taken out of the bottom right-hand corner, and my heart sank a little bit when I saw it because I thought it was actually the screen. And so I pulled the screen protector a little way and I saw the chip came away. I thought, oh, yes, it's just a screen protector. So I ordered another screen protector, installed that, and I mean, it says screen protector. Does it really protect it? I would assume it will. It's certainly helped me with my cell phone. I don't plan on dropping my car, certainly not dropping the screen in the car, but I've dropped my phone several times. But I'll tell you the other reason I consider it a must-have. I get a lot of glare off the screen. I always order the screen protector as a matte screen protector, and that really, really cuts down on the glare. I wouldn't say it gets rid of 100% of it. If you get the sun or you get some kind of light just at the right angle, yeah, you'll get some glare on it, but it is way better and fingerprints don't show as much on it. I guess for me, maybe even that's the better reason to get one, but I definitely would have a screen protector on your must-have list. There are a lot of different options out there. I tend to be a real big fan of Spigen. I use them on my cell phone, and that's what I've ordered and have installed on our Model Y and our Model X. I will link to theirs down below. I know you can get it on Amazon, but the third must-have would be a screen protector. Number 4 on my list of must-have accessories for your Model Y is a roof shade. Like up here is a beautiful roof. When it gets really hot, and maybe this is just me, drop a comment down below if you've experienced this as well. It can really bake. I mean, it can turn, the inside of your car can turn into quite the little greenhouse. And the roof sunshade, it doesn't keep that from happening. It's not like, instead of the interior of your car being 120 degrees, the interior is going to be 70 and feel fantastic. It's not that so much, But I've noticed when it gets really, really hot, which it does occasionally do here in Michigan, but definitely like if you all are in Arizona, Texas, Southern California, these places get really, really hot. But even here in Michigan, when it gets, you know, mid 90s, low 90s, upper 90s, somewhere in there, and the sun is beating straight down, I can actually, the top of my head actually gets warm. Sometimes it even gets hot. Now, of course, there's a joke there because there's not as much hair covering the top of my head as there used to be. But either way, it does really help with that. And we've actually had a couple of different kinds installed. When we had a Model 3, I had one where you put clips on the side of it and you install it. So every spring I'd install it, every fall I would take it out. And I thought it did a really good job. And then in our Model Y here, I did a video on this one as well. Again, link in the description. This is a retractable sunshade. Taking the other kind out, putting it in, once I got used to it, once I'd done it a couple times, it really was a piece of cake. It took me maybe 10, 15 minutes on the long end, but I do really like this retractable option. And you can watch that video that I did on the review. The only, and it has actually held up. In that video, I had guessed that, I don't know how well it's gonna hold up because it's kind of spring loaded and I figured the springs would give out. Well, now I've had it for a while and I moved it from our last Model Y into this one, and they're still holding up quite well. So maybe I had nothing to worry about. But the nice thing is you can do just the front, you can do just the back, you can do the whole thing. You can just vary it based on what the conditions are, because really, if it's not gonna be super hot out, I do want it open. I love, especially with the white interior, I love how light and open and airy it feels when you have that open, because when you do close it, I mean, it does darken the interior. But I do very strongly recommend some form of a sunshade for the roof. Last but not least, number 5 on the must-have accessories for your Tesla Model Y, organizer trays. I recommend organizer trays for the armrest and an organizer tray for the center console. Those are, especially the center console is kind of a cavernous area unless you have an organizer in there. Kind of gives you a couple different levels. Just a place to put your knickknacks in. I mean, I've got some stuff related to making videos. I got some change in there. I got some chapstick, things like that. And then in the one I've got here, I don't even know what I have. Some mints and pins, and I got my J1772 adapter if I ever need to use that when I'm charging out and about. So I definitely recommend those. There are so many different options out there. Two that immediately come to mind are Jowa makes some really good organizers. I have those in our Model Y and in our Model X. There's a company called Tessery. They have some good options as well. I will link down below to both of those websites. Feel free to check them out. I do have discount codes for both of those. So if you want to get a little bit off, feel free to use that. And if you don't have to use it. Now, the other organizer tray I'm going to throw out there, Jowa makes these collapsible storage bins. They actually kind of market them as, well, you can use it as kind of a mobile wash kit, right? Because they collapse down to about that tall. But when you unclapse them, you can put water in them. You can take them with you if you want. You need to wash the car while you're out and about, or just put water in there or something like that. A lot of things you can use them for, and they work great. I actually tested them in that video using them to wash my car. But the cool thing is they collapse. And I don't know offhand if it works in the Model 3, but in the Model Y, I can collapse them and you can slide them right underneath the front seats, and it works great. What I use them for is the mounts that I would use to mount a camera up here or to mount a camera on my windshield or something like that. I just keep the mounts in there and they're underneath. I just pull it out. I can grab whatever mount I need. I can get it installed. And that way I have what I need with me all the time, which is fantastic. So I would definitely recommend as many of the organizational tools as you want, but absolute minimum, I recommend it for the armrest and for the center console. All right, I got one more bonus one I'm gonna throw in. I'm gonna call this 5.5 because I cannot say it's a must-have accessory. It really, really is gonna depend on your use case for your vehicle, how long you plan to keep it, and how much you care about the condition it is in on a daily basis. It is something that we have done on all of our vehicles, and that is paint protection film, or PPF you'll see. Now, we have only ever done the front end paint protection film because my main concern is rock chips and junk getting thrown up on there and all that kind of stuff. I will say with the Model Y, it's also very important to either have a set of mud flaps or add some paint protection film to kind of the side of your car. Now, new Model Y has been this way for at least a couple years, is they do have a little strip of paint protection film back passenger area on the rocker panels. But if you don't have mud flaps on the front of your Model Y, I would recommend maybe getting a PPF kit from like dry, and these are things you can do yourself if you feel comfortable doing it. I don't trust myself to do it. And you can actually buy just the kit to cover what you want to. So if you don't have the mud flaps, I do recommend getting a PPF kit, you know, maybe for the back door, maybe just the sides. For us, front end PPF is something we have done since our first Tesla. And I will tell you, it's quite amazing to me. I mean, when we've sold our Tesla, the front end looks perfect. I mean, it looks absolutely perfect. Not a single chip, nothing like that. And that is something that is important to me, at least. Everything in the front basically looks brand new, not a single stone chip. And I don't know that I've ever had a car that did not have a single stone chip on it. So PPF, let's call that 5.5. I do recommend it. So we'll throw that in as number 5.5 and something for you to consider. Well, there you have it. What I would say are the top 5 must-have accessories for a Tesla Model Y. I would say that these really apply to any vehicle, any Tesla. Many of the things you can get for a Model Y will fit a Model 3 as well, except for the newest Model 3. So if you have Model 3, all hope is not lost. Look at some of the links down below. Look at those same websites and see if they have a Model 3 option available. Anytime you are getting these, pay very, very close attention for those items that are fit based on what it says on the listing for what years of the Model Y or the Model 3 they are for. Because as you may know, Tesla doesn't exactly do model years like most vehicle manufacturers. And it's very important that you confirm what year and where in the year sometimes your vehicle is. And I would recommend, if you're really, really not sure, you know, maybe drop me a comment down below and I'll try to help if I can, or reach out to the customer service at those websites and ask them so you can be sure that it'll fit. So how did I do? All right, would you consider these must-haves? Do you have other ones that you would consider must-haves? If so, let me know in the comments down below. And if you would replace any of these as a must-have, what would you replace them with? And don't count PPF, because I admitted that PPF may not be a must-have. It is for us, but not for everybody. So let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you sticking with me this long to watch this video, and I look forward to chatting with you in the comments down below, and we'll see you on the next one.